Welcome into Philadelphia Eagles Now right here on Chat Sports. Chase Sr. here with you. Appreciate all of you for tuning in. And I hope you tune in on Sunday for our Eagles Saints watch party. A lot to play for, a lot at stake at Lincoln Financial Field for Philadelphia. You win, you get that bye week in the playoffs, you lock down that number 1 seed, and you clinch the NFC East. Our pregame show will start at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. Abby and Trace are Saints fans, so they'll be there as well, having a nice little battle back and forth. Going to be a good time. And, of course, the drinks will be flowing on New Year's Day as we bring in 2023 together. All right, let's start taking your questions here on Eagles Now. We're just going to open up the floor because here on the channel, we like to make it about you. And I know that football intellect is top-notch for all of you out there, so this is why it's one of my favorite segments here, because we're able to chop it up and interact together. Dennis Designs with a $10 super chat. He makes a really good point here. Gardner Minshew better use Dallas Goedert more this week. And I totally agree. When Minshew made that start last year in replacement of Jalen Hurts following his ankle injury, he went to Dallas Goedert a lot. And Minshew's yards per completion was less than 6. A big reason for that, he targeted Dallas Goedert frequently. Last week, though, Goedert wasn't involved enough. But when he was involved, every time, it pretty much seemed like a splash play. I thought that Shane Steichen and Nick Sirianni wanted to get Quez Watkins involved way too often, when I would have liked to have seen those reps go to Dallas Goedert. And if they get Goedert involved on some of those bubble screens, some of those quick hitters, it allows the offensive line to get pressure taken off of it, especially without Gardner-Johnson, because the offensive linemen, they can get on those pull blocks, they can get downfield. Eagles are a very good blocking team at that wide receiver core, and it's just an easy completion and an easy way to pick up yards against a team in the Saints that is prone to giving up some of those big plays. Next up, it's Nick Stone. Should we start playing Pascal over Watkins? Now, earlier in the year, this is something that we talked about a lot, that the Eagles had really given the reps to Zach Pascal over Quez Watkins, and I don't think the Eagles missed a beat. It was about in that range when they played the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I thought that Pascal looked really good. And this is a guy who is a heady player. That's why Nick Sirianni likes him a lot. He makes very few mistakes. So I'm hoping that Quez Watkins, after making several mistakes the last couple of weeks, because he was a big part of the game plan against Chicago, didn't play well. Same can be said against the Cowboys, that they give maybe some of those reps to Pascal, who just seems to have a better grasp of how things are moving and shaking right now. Brandon Ford, congrats on the podcast, brother. 49ers have a great defense, great running back, but the Eagles have a great defense too, and I feel like a much better offense overall. Philly up by +5 NFC title game. So you think that the Eagles would win an NFC championship game against San Francisco. Now, if the Eagles lose out and the 49ers win out and the Vikings lose a game, San Francisco can still get that number 1 seed. I do think San Francisco is a little bit better. Their defense is better than Philly's. And then offensively, yeah, the Eagles have the better quarterback, and their skill position players are about up to par with the Niners. But why I might like San Francisco to win that football game, they're a little bit more experienced. Head coaching, offense, defense, they played in a lot of big games. Whereas this Eagles team, really the core of it, at least for Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni, they've only played in 1 playoff game. So it would be a great matchup. As of right now, that's my prediction for the NFC title game. And if it happens, going to be an awesome game. John O'Malley, one of our real ones. I want Jalen Hurts to play against the Saints, because if he doesn't, then there's a chance he's rusty in the playoffs, and we can't have that against San Francisco. But in order to get to a game against San Francisco, you would first have to win your divisional round matchup. And John, if Jalen Hurts doesn't play against the Saints, doesn't play against the Giants, and the Eagles get that first round bye, we're talking about 5 weeks off for a quarterback coming off a shoulder injury. He could misfire on some throws, and that could prohibit the Eagles from moving the ball downfield, or some of those misfires could then lead to turnovers, which can change the outcome of a playoff game. That's why I think it's important that he was on the practice field on Thursday, and that's why I think it's important for him to get some game reps, at least against the Saints, maybe against the Giants, even if it's just for a couple of drives, to just see how he looks and to shake off some of that rust. With this game on Sunday at Lincoln Financial Field, another reminder, we'll be doing a watch party for it. The Eagles enter as touchdown favorites. That line has not shifted as of Thursday, because I don't think the odds makers know if Hurts is going to play or not. That's pretty telling. Over-under 42. If you want to bet on the game, make sure you do it with our sportsbook partner, BetUS. This deal applies for you regardless of where you live, and I know people live watching Eagles now all over the country, all over the world. Plug in that link, chatsports.com/EaglesBet, promo code Eagles125 for a 125% deposit bonus. You put in $100, you get $125 back, $225 to game with, and shoot, maybe you want to take the Eagles to win the Super Bowl in Glendale, Arizona. Let's go to Princess Gamer now. Any chance on CJ Gardner-Johnson returning anytime soon? I think soon he's going to return. Is it going to be against the Saints? I don't think so, because his practice window as of Thursday was not open. And if his practice window wasn't opened by Thursday, considering how the Eagles have gone about this, then I don't think CD Deuce is going to play. And why risk him for an injury? It's different for a quarterback than it is a defensive back. Jalen Hurts not playing for 5 weeks is a concern. CJ Gardner-Johnson can miss some time, and I don't think there's going to be a ton of rust if he comes back for the divisional round. And this is what NBC Sports Philly did report. With all previous players coming off injured reserve, the Eagles opened their practice window before the Wednesday practice, the week they returned to action. By not opening Gardner-Johnson's practice window, it remains unclear when he'll be able to return. The Eagles finished the regular season, Saints, Giants. If they don't get the number 1 seed and play wild card weekend, they'll open up the playoffs January 14th to the 16th. Wild card team, as a wild card team, if they get that first round by January 21st or 22nd. So that is really the window for when the Eagles would play, and maybe them giving some time to Lane Johnson, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Jalen Hurts to recover from their injuries. And that's why it's so pivotal for the Eagles to get that number 1 seed and avoid a late season epic collapse. Izzy B, $2 donation, sent us a video of her doing a shot on our live show, and protect Jalen Hurts. Got to protect Jalen Hurts. There's no doubt about that. He should be the sole focus of protection here for Philadelphia. Adam Singleton, one of our Super Chat MVPs this year. Will Minshew use Goddard against the Saints, or will it be like another game like against the Dallas Cowboys? I hope, as I said a little bit earlier from Dennis, that the Eagles implement Dallas Goedert more so in the game plan and involve him a little bit. He's the ultimate security blanket for a quarterback. Easy read, easy completion, easy yards, and sometimes you just need that to move the chains, especially when the offense is struggling, or as we saw against the Cowboys, the offense turns the ball over, and you need to find and refine that momentum. So, Adam, Dennis, got to see more Dallas Goedert. I agree. LA, do you believe it is wise to rest players that are not injured and in need of recovery time after seeing how flat we were in the playoffs in past seasons? See, I'm kind of against resting players for an extended period of time. And if guys are hurt, then yes, I think you rest them, like Lane Johnson, Jalen Hurts, CJ Gardner-Johnson. If you're just resting players to rest them, I disagree with that. You can always play them for a series or two and avoid that rust factor. But oftentimes for teams that get that first round bye, sometimes they do come out a little bit sluggish. I mean, shoot, in 2017, yeah, the Eagles won the Super Bowl, but do you remember how close that game was against the Atlanta Falcons? It came down to a red zone goal line stand as Matt Ryan failed to hit Julio Jones with the Eagles defense standing tall there. So, yes, I do go against resting players who are healthy, but injured guys, that's a different philosophy. Cool Rains, good day, mate. Any news on A.J. Brown and Miles Sanders? Miles Sanders did return to the practice field on Thursday. Jason Kelce had a rest day. Jalen Hurts was a limited participant. Let me just scan here to see if there's any new update on A.J. Brown. This is bad TV, but just give me a moment to see if I'm seeing anything on A.J. Brown. Did not practice Thursday. Lane Johnson, Linval Joseph because of an illness, Avonte Maddox because of his toe, limited. Bradbury resting, A.J. Brown knee and rest, so he's a limited participant. That's good. Fletcher Cox rest, Landon Dickerson rest, Brandon Graham rest. So A.J. Brown's going to be just fine. With this game on Sunday, who are you going with? Do the Eagles get the dub? Do they lock up that number 1 seed? If that's the case, give me a PHI. Who dat? You think the Saints are going to win? Type NO. Appreciate y'all for supporting the show. Make sure you subscribe and join us for our watch party on Sunday.